Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We can call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard from the champion himself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And like the king, Gabriel Rosado, we're simply knocking out the competition. He's here to talk about his comeback, his movement, his podcast. There's still some acting in the making. There's still a lot of commentating in the making. There's a lot of Gabriel Rosado in the making. And you're going to hear more about it on the only voice that matters, The Fighter's Voice. Welcome to the podcast, Gabe. How we doing, buddy?
Oh, no doubt, man. Happy to be on, bro.
You know what? Once again, you got the victory in the win column. You're back. And like I stated, the king is back. How does it make you feel knowing that, you know, it was just a thought process? You put that thought process back into reality. You showcase Marv Nation in Modest Promotions production last Saturday. The stars were out there. Everybody that was in tune with media was there. And, you know, you fill the seats once again. And you told me, you know, that was a lot of experience. You're used to that. But deep down, when did it sink in and say, you know what, I'm back into the sport?
Yeah, man. I just, you know, I felt good, man. I felt good. It felt good to come back, you know, you know, it's just the perfect situation. I was in Puerto Rico doing training with Jake Paul. And, you know, just while I was out there, just kind of, you know, sparring and getting myself in shape, it's just like, you know, I just got the itch where I was like, man, I want to make a run. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, once I caught my rhythm in Puerto Rico, and I kind of always wanted to get back. You know what I mean? I think I was just waiting for the right time. And I felt good. And, you know, I spoke to Abner and Marv about, you know, their next show, and it kind of just worked out. The timing was perfect, and we just rocked out, bro, and made it happen.
It was a great decision. The timing was perfect. I think this second run, the timing is perfect. I see you sharing the ring with even the likes of Jake Paul. And you made it clear who you want, and shortly you're going to tell the whole world once again who you want. But I see you in some big fights because of your name, because of the identity you kept outside of the ring. Because of what you're doing. And a lot of people know who you are. They want to share the ring with you. They want what you have, whether you see it or not. You're truly a blessed individual to have the opportunity that you have. And a lot of it is self-inflicted, which means you created those opportunities by staying busy, staying in the limelight, staying on national TV, you know, keeping your nose clean. And at the end of the day, you kick a lot of ass.
No, for sure, man. Yeah, man. You know, I feel like, you know, a solid win for me would put me right back into the mix. And, you know, I was getting offered certain fights, but, you know, it's just all about timing and then just picking the right fight. Like, you know, just putting yourself in that position, right? So this fight right here was just a good get back fight, you know, get my feet wet. Yeah. And then, you know, jump into something like, you know, possibly a fight with Berlanga in Puerto Rico, you know, which is the fight that I feel makes perfect sense right now. So, you know, just getting back in that mix, man, and using my experience. I think the 2-year layoff was good for me. I think I was able to rejuvenate my body and just kind of like, you know, having such a busy career. And 18, you know, it's 20 years now, but when I retired, it was 18 years of just constantly fighting top competition. It just, you know, it takes a toll on your body. So I think the time off was good for me, man. I just feel, you know, rejuvenated, ready to make something happen.
Rest is good. It's like a bear in hibernation, and now you're ready to go. And I think that Edgar Berlanga fight makes sense for both of you. I mean, and that's not taking anything away from what you bring, Gabe. I'm just saying, coming off that loss, now it's there, and you don't want just a, you know, for him, he doesn't want just an easy fight. He wants to challenge himself. And you're not just accepting the challenge, you're initiating the challenge. You've been doing it since day one. And now you're in the driver's seat because you're captivated by your own self. To call for a fight and you know you've been inactive is one thing, but to call for a fight that you know can be reality, it's just a matter of getting both parties together, your management team, his management team, closing the deal and making it happen.
No, for sure, man. And, you know, it's just, you know, it's a situation where, you know, he's coming off that loss, you know, and then I'm coming off a win after a 2-year layoff. And I think, just the fight happening in Puerto Rico, just it makes perfect sense. There's no beef between me and him, man, but there's that competition, where there's always talks, and he used to call me out all the time, but now is I feel like, look, your back's against the wall, you need to come back strong. And then I think with me coming off this win, it's not got win, it actually makes it where the fans actually see this being a very competitive fight. You know what I'm saying? So I love the idea of it happening in Puerto Rico, hopefully like in November, December. I think it's very possible. I see MVP Promotions making this fight happen.
I was about to say that.
That's why I see making it happen. And I think it'll
collaboration.
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll work out.
I do. That makes perfect sense. MVP in collaboration with Marv Nation Promotions, Modest Promotions. You're in a win-win situation. I'm excited for you, bro. I'm excited because you know why I'm excited?
Yeah.
Because I get to go to Puerto Rico for the very first time. Because I'm not one of those that just says, okay, yeah, I'm going to watch you. I'm going to be about it. I want to make sure I'm like, bro, come on now. You got this. You know what I mean?
And the thing, Puerto Rico is a beautiful place to travel and be at, man. It's like, listen, man, when it comes to Puerto Rico, like boxing is it's the top. It's like baseball and boxing, right?
Yeah.
And right now you got Puerto Rico making some noise with, Matias world champion and Sander Zayas is world champion, and you got Collazo is world champion, man. You got Amanda Serrano, so Puerto Rico right now is making a lot of noise with the boxing, man. That's why I think a fight between me and Berlanga in Puerto Rico is just it's just big, just for the community and the boxing public, man.
And it's going to bring out the stars. You're going to see Rosie Perez there. You're going to see Tito Trinidad there, and you're going to see them all there. Everybody, all the stars. And just like you did last Saturday, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been to a lot of promotions with Marv and Abner. I didn't see as much as powerhouse media, like I did Saturday. And I noticed, and I was like, whoa, okay. And then I noticed some other people that belong to the sport of boxing. Some other commentators were out there. Some other ring announcers were out there. Some, digital creators were out there. And that's what you do. You have that it factor. And,
sure.
That's why you were a part of Creed. To become, you were born to be on the big screen, not just as an actor, as a commentator, but as a performer and an entertainer. And now you're using all the gifts that God gave you, but he's not closing this chapter just yet. At the age that you're at, this position that you're at, that extra chapter is opening now.
Absolutely, man. And I just feel like, boxing is a beautiful thing, man. You know what I mean? It's a brutal sport, but you learn so much about yourself if you allow yourself to really like learn from the trials and tribulations that come with the sport, because the sport is brutal. You know what I'm saying? The injuries are brutal. The defeats are brutal. The fans could be brutal. You know what I'm saying? It's just is rugged. It's not for the faint of heart, man. So, if you're able to overcome those hardships, you grow and you just come out just bigger and better. You know what I'm saying? But boxing, it can easily defeat a man's. It could defeat a man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we're only human. But I just think, man, only the strong survive, man. And I feel like I'm just that guy where I'm fresh in the sense of my mind. I'm in shape. I'm healthy. So I can now bring my experience into it, right? So there's that factor where, you can have the experience, but then you probably just don't have the ability anymore because of age. But, I keep myself active. Even though it was 2 years off, it wasn't like I was sitting on the couch. You know what I'm saying? I live a lifestyle. So I'm very active. I'm always in shape. You ain't never going to see me out of shape. Right. So I just think right now I feel fresh and rejuvenated. And then I'm able to take the mistakes that I made maybe in the past, and I'm able to kind of like now do things right and have a different structure and a different game plan and a different strategy of how to then do this comeback. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't do the same thing and expect different results, right?
Yeah.
You got to switch it up and you got to grow. And that's what I'm excited about, man. That's what gets me going.
You know, you can call them mistakes, and it's always cliche to say, okay, they're learning things, but those were learning opportunities for you. And those were tests that you passed. When most people say they failed, you passed because you went through it. You got through it. You got it up. You beat the 10 count, and here you are.
For sure.
You know, once again, you talked about the 2 years off. That's a great time to rest, to not just physically, spiritually, physically, mentally. And you've been inactive, even though you've been physically inactive, you've been active as far as covering fights. So you're still feeding your mind. You're still feeding that muscle memory. It's still there as if you were competing, and you showed the entire world exactly what you bring to the table. And you don't get paid to work overtime. When it's there, the opportunity's there, and you created it with that body shot.
The one thing I say is, like, when I'm commentating fights, if I see like a up and coming fighter, and he's in there with a guy that's not on his level, and the rounds keep going on and on and on. My thing, I go, don't play with your food. Don't play with food. You know what I mean? If you can go in there and get a guy out, not that you never look for the knockout, but you know, your intention should always be to break a man down. You know what I'm saying? Not to be in there playing with your food. So, you know, I got back with my trainer, Billy Briscoe from Philly. And, you know, one of the things that we just got back to is just, you know, the fundamentals, you know, so it just worked out for us. You know, I wanted a couple more rounds, man, but I caught him with a really, really good body shot, man. It was like, I took the air out of him as soon as I hit him with that right uppercut to the gut. You know, it's just a hard shot to really be able to, like, continue going. So, you know, I caught him with that shot early, and, you know, it was a wrap. But yeah, man, you know, don't play with your food.
No. And I'm glad he's okay. But I will tell you this. Even minutes later, when he came over and he I think he thanked you, or he thanked Marv for the opportunity, he was concussed. I mean, he was still, actually, his corner should have walked him over, or I mean, he still needed attention. He really did. But I'm glad, you know, within his muscle memory, his faculties were there to appreciate the opportunity, because you got to remember, you're the name, you're the household name. And he took the opportunity. So kudos to that. But you did what you set out to do, and you made quick work of it. And that's what it is. That's the bottom line. You're in the driver's seat now. You let everybody know, hey, if you want to go at light heavyweight, we can, but I prefer to come down to 168 or meet out of catch weight and get that big fight with Edgar Berlanga, and just make it happen, man. I mean, put it to rest. It has to happen. And now is the time, better than ever before, to happen.
Yeah. It was breaking up a little.
Okay, yeah,
it's breaking up a little bit.
Okay, what I said is there's no better time for this match to happen. I mean, you did what you needed to do. Your body's well rested, and you're ready to go.
No, for sure, man, for sure. You know, and it's like, you know, it's just you know, putting myself on a mission and like what I want to do in this comeback. You know what I'm saying? Like, this comeback is not just to come back and do this for the hell of it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, man, I think when you're young and you're in this sport, I think you take it for granted, especially like when the ability of fighting comes to you natural. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a natural fighter, right? So I think when that comes to you and you got heart and you got guts, like, you take it for granted. You know what I'm saying? And I've been on the big stage. I fought on all the networks, whatever, right? And then it's like, you know, when you get away from it, and it was that 2-year gap, it was like, you know, you kind of start reliving the memories, and it's like, damn.
The future of combat sports, a centralized platform where fighters, fans, coaches, promoters, and anyone involved in a fight game connect, communicate, and do business. Fighters can find fights, fans follow every move, and everyone in a fight game can showcase their services. Whether you're looking to promote a fight, find a cut man, or book talent, it's all here. FIGHTBOOK is changing the fight game forever. Welcome to the revolution.
You know, you kind of just was going through the motions and you wasn't really appreciating it, or not. I wouldn't say appreciating it, but it's like, you know, you learn to respect the craft differently. You know what I'm saying? So I think right now is like what I'm enjoying about it is really just kind of like, you know, respecting the craft, respecting the skill of boxing, where it's like, you know, it's just not about going out there and you know, having that natural ability and always knowing that you get to rely on your heart. It's just like really like being strategic about it too. So that's what I love about the sport, man. It's like, you know, you can really use your experience and it's a whole different weapon.
Well, I know that's the fight that you want, but I'm going to be honest with you. He's probably going to take close to a year off because of the fashion of his last fight, possibly 6 months. So there may be a stay active fight, a stay busy fight for you coming up next. But if not, don't be surprised if you're sharing the ring with the likes of David Benavidez.
It's breaking up again.
Because of the fashion of
there you go. I got it.
Okay. What was that?
Yeah.
Is that better?
No, go ahead. It was breaking.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay, cool. Because of the fashion of Edgar Berlanga's last fight, he's probably going to take close to a year off, possibly 6 months. Don't be surprised if you're sharing. And I know you're going to probably take a stay busy fight, but don't be surprised if you get the call from the likes of a David Benavidez and you're sharing the ring with a Benavidez.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You know, my thing is this: like, I fought at 175, but I prefer to I want to get down to 168. The 175 was just because, you know, I've been out for 2 years, so my weight was up, and I really didn't want. It was no reason to like make that weight drop to 68 if I'm not fighting for a title.
No, I agree.
But you know, yeah, 75 is honestly like it ain't really my weight, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, those dudes are just it's a whole different weight class, bro. You know, I like 168. You know, I like the talent that's at 168. You know, you got Plant, you got Charlo, you got Berlanga, you know what I'm saying? You got Eubank, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know, Galeno's the top guy in the division, man. So I like the 68-pound division, man.
You and Plant, that fight makes sense too. It really does. That fight makes sense. It really does.
For sure. You know, there's a lot of good fights, but I think like the focus is right now is to, you know, I do want the Berlanga fight, and if that was to fall into place, and let's say we can make that happen November, December, then that's perfect.
Yes.
But if not, you know what I'm saying? If for whatever reason that doesn't pan out, then I do want to stay active and get back in October. You know what I'm saying? And just get another stay busy fight where me and my team could just kind of get another camp under us, keep sharpening the tools, and just put ourselves in that position where when it is a big guy like a Plant or a Charlo, like, you know, we're really locked in and ready for these guys, because time is everything in boxing.
Yes, it is.
You know I'm saying?
Small window.
Yeah, you can have all the experience in the world, but it really comes down to putting those things together in camps and working and sharpening the tools. So, you know, I feel like I said, if we can't get Berlanga in December or November, then I will get a stay busy fight. And, you know, we already kind of have something in the mix, but we're just seeing how things play out.
Well, you know, Gabe, I learned two things. And I got a call today from the GOAT himself, Mark Kriegel from ESPN. He said, Richard, when you're commentating a fight, unfortunately, I didn't get to say all the PowerPoint. I did a little bit, you know, as you were walking in, not everything I wanted to do because I was going to highlight it during the fight, but it ended so early. I didn't give a chance to tell the whole world the personal things I know about you, the conversations we had. And he said, Richard, from the GOAT, he said, I watched it. Next time, your PowerPoints, you know, there's not a fight meeting, create one. Call the man on the phone. And to get these calls and these PowerPoints and these pointers from the best of all time, Mark Kriegel, it means a lot to me. which means he watched the fight. I sent him the link and everything. So I need to hit all your PowerPoints next time you're making that ring entrance. And then I'll just go from there. And then me and you are going to share our fight meeting. And then I'm going to hit some plugs that nobody knows but just me and you. And then we'll introduce it to the world, because you made quick work, man. And you made my commentary very short, but that's a good thing.
No doubt, man. Yeah, we don't get paid for overtime, man. So
no, you don't.
Honestly, I did want to get some rounds under me, man. But like I said, that body shot just landed. It just landed on the sweet spot, bro. And to get hit with a body shot like that in the first round, I mean, it's like you're not even warmed up to even absorb that kind of body blow, man. I caught him lunching, man. I pretty much I feinted like a left hook up top. So he put his guard up, and then I just caught him with that uppercut to the gut, and it was just, followed up with a couple right hands up top, and he just, he couldn't get up.
No disrespect at all. I mean, the man was literally asleep. His muscle memory took over, and he put his glove there to cushion as a pillow. I'm not clowning. I don't disrespect any fighter at all, but you literally put him to sleep. And like I said, he was still concussed. It was one of those shots, those opportunities. I mean, you still have what it takes at the highest level, and there's levels in this sport, and you did what you needed to do. And now it's time to move on. And, you said you got some things in the works already. I bet your phone is blowing off the hook. The Plant fight makes sense. Possibly the Benavidez. We all want to see that Edgar Berlanga fight take place in Puerto Rico, or just take place, period.
Yeah.
You're in the driver's seat, my man. How does it feel that you're back?
No, it feels good, man. It feels good. I love this sport, bro. I love this sport, man. And just, being in camp and just kind of like, going through the motions and stuff like that, man. It feels good, especially getting back with my original trainer, where it's like, it's someone that he knows me, he knows the details, he knows exactly what it takes to get me right. So, it was that comfort. We were separated for a while, man. So, with time, you mature, you grow.
Yeah.
And we just got back, and it was like we never left. You know what I mean? It was like we hopped right back on the bike, and it was like we went right back to the flow of things. And it made me feel real confident, because, a lot of the things that he taught me, I think, like I said, when you're a young buck, you just want to go in there and just bang, right? But obviously, being a veteran, you take key and you take notes to certain advice now. And so there's just certain things that I do where, we understand each other, man. And I think, like I said, man, I think it's going to be a problem, man. I think what we're going to do is going to be like one of the biggest surprises in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because I could fight, man. I could fight, but it's just a matter of really having a strategy. This is a thinking man sport. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, too, you have to be an entertainer. So I got it both, man. I could think, but at the same time, I'm going to give the fans what they want. So, we excited, man. We excited.
Well, besides being Puerto Rican, I think you guys both have something in common. And you got to remember the second coming, the second stretch, when a lot of people counted Miguel Cotto out, and Freddie was able to reinvent him, and he made that run, that second run of his career. He opened up another chapter, and he made one hell of a run, a very competitive fight with Canelo, and he got those opportunities. And for you to go back to your trainer should tell you something about yourself. Meaning you're taking this very serious, and you don't want it in just anybody's hands. You're putting your career back into the hands that you trust, someone that knows you the most, someone that knows that you guys can have a whole conversation with just looking at each other. You guys know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you need to do next. You're able to make the transition. You follow through. And like I said, you're in a good place right now. And this next chapter that's being opened, I believe you are going to make a second run.
No, for sure. No, we definitely are, man. I appreciate it, man. And it's like, I just feel good about it, man. I think, right now I'm in a different place in my life, man. When I retired, I got married. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
So it was more of a chilled, calm, steady lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
So I think it helped me just kind of like ground myself and be more focused, more locked in, man. So, like I said, man, I'm excited to get things going, man. And I'm excited to like show the fans like, yo, I'm not done. I got more in the tank. And And like you said, man, there's other than Berlanga, there are big fights out there, like a Plant, like a, you know what I'm saying? Even the dude that beat Plant.
Yes.
Resendiz. And I mean, there's really good fights. Eubank, you know, Eubank's going to fight Ben in the, after that, you know, that's big fights, man. So, you know, I'm excited about it, man.
I am too, man. But, you know, I'm also excited about the debate we were having.
Yeah, which one?
About afterwards, man, because I love that hat right there. I would love to rock that hat. I got to get that hat, and I got to represent. I got to get you a Fighter's Voice hat. I got everything at that fight. You know, I was able to commentate. I was able to post-fight interviews. But I left with two things that I didn't get to get. And one of them was a cold beer. And on my way out, I noticed they were putting away those Gabe shirts, man. I got to pick one of those up, man. I got to rock it on the show. You know, I'm rocking the old school, the Mayweather De La Hoya. So, you know, I got to make sure I grab one of those. But I can't grab one until I send you one of the official T-shirt of the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters, my man.
Yeah, for sure. No, man, I got you, man. I got you. You know what I'm saying? It's fun, man. You know, I'm gonna jump back on the podcast and you know, talk my talk.
Do your thing.
Yeah. I'm doing a show with Matchroom in Mexico in September. So I'm still commentating, man. I enjoy doing it. Listen, man, it's like I can't lead a sport, bro.
No, you can't. Like
I can't lead a sport. You know, I love it, man. And you know, the podcast I really like sitting down and talking about the up and comers, you know, and talking about the sport, because like the sport is changing dramatically, as far as, you know, you got Turki Al-Ashi making these moves, and then you got Jake Paul and MVP Promotions, and there's so much going on right now in the sport where, you know, I think I'm looking at it from a different lens where, you know, it's easy to judge when things are different, but you got to kind of sometimes let things play out, because I really think it's good for the sport, honestly. You know, and all the buzz, like, come on, man, we got fights on Netflix that are doing stupid numbers now. Canelo and offers on Netflix. But why is it on Netflix? It's on Netflix because Jake Paul started that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He opened doors. He's good for the sport.
Yeah, you could talk all you want about Jake Paul. And listen, it was easy for me to fall into that shit too, because it's something so new. And it's like, what the hell's going on? But, dude, Netflix is crazy. And it's did the biggest numbers. So I think MVP is probably one of the best promotions in boxing. And then Turki Al-Ashi is like, he throwing the bread out there so nobody can complain about when it comes to the money, and he's making these fights. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, it's always drama, and boxing is always going to be the Wild West, man. But I think boxing is probably at the biggest stage it's ever been right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
Well, Jake Paul is that song that nobody liked at first, but then they end up dancing to it, learning all the words, and buying the whole album, you know? And as far as, I mean, look at Jake Paul. I mean, rumor has it he's going to share the ring with AJ, Anthony Joshua. Yeah. I mean, you got to take what he's doing serious. He's living the life that he needs to live as a fighter, as a promoter. He's given the women's boxing a major opportunity. He is great for the sport as far as business. They can hate all they want. Haters become supporters and followers, and most of all, believers. Because when you ask a kid that has never watched the sport of boxing ever, and you ask them, and this is true, who's your favorite fighter? And they say Jake Paul. They don't know about the Tommy Hearns, the Sugar Ray Leonards, the Gabriel Rosados, the Abner Mares, and because they just been introduced it because of Jake Paul, and because of the big platforms out there now. There's exposure. They're getting exposed. They get to see it now, and the entertainment part of it now. So I agree with you 100%. And I also love you on that podcast because you have a real side of you. You remind me of the Timothy Bradley, Paulie, you know, even what's his name? Teddy Atlas. Because you guys keep Teddy. It 100, man. You do.
No, for sure, definitely, man. Yeah, and I think that's what it is, man. Like, you know, right now with so many changes happening in the sport, with the promotion and things like that. I just think, you know, just having the platform and just being able to be a part of it and say what I got to say about it, man. I think it's dope, man. And you know, like I said, man, it was real easy to be negative. You know what I'm saying? But I think sometimes you just kind of got to let things play out. When things are new, just let them play out, see how it lays out, and then you can kind of see what it's hitting for. But, you know, what MVP did with that all-women's card on Netflix, like, who would have ever thought that an all-women's card would actually be on Netflix, and not just be on Netflix, but be entertaining?
Yes.
Every fight was good. And look, Amanda Serrano, it didn't live up to the last 2 fights, but it still was a good technical fight. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's great for boxing, man. You know, and then right now, Turk Yalashi's doing some, you know, Crawford, Canelo. And then, you know, I think Virgil and Thurman are fighting, whatever. So, man, there's a lot of good fights happening.
Yeah, that's rumored for October. And also Arnold Barboza rumored to fight Frank Martin. But, I mean, you talk about women's boxing. I mean, what about the pioneers, the Christy Martins, the Jennifer Alcorns, the Mia St. Johns? Can you imagine if they would have had that opportunity? But they're the ones who paved the way back when people wouldn't accept women's boxing. I mean, look at Dana White. He wouldn't accept women in MMA. But you know, he came to a senses. He knew and started to see it as a business. But MVP is doing great numbers and is great for boxing. For
sure. No, definitely, man. I think, like, you know, like the women's boxing, you know, Christy Martin, Layla Ali, and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it definitely opens the door for what now Serrano and Katie Taylor and versus Shields and things like that are doing. And then you got, you know, Baumgartner and stuff like that, man. So there's a lot of good talent in the women's boxing right now, man. And they're fun fights. Honestly, I would like to see 3 rounds. I think the women should have the 3 rounds rather than the 2-minute rounds. But other than that,
3-minute rounds.
Yeah. But other than that, man, I think it's great for the sport.
This segment is sponsored by the Maldonado Brothers, proudly serving the Central Valley for over 25 years. From Visalia to Chowchilla, whether it's an expert tree service or professional landscaping, we offer free estimates and a team you can trust. Voted best in Central California for 2024 and aiming for a repeat in 2025. Call 559-994-7746 today, and let's bring your outdoor vision to life. Superior quality to create your perfect environment. What did you think of Stephanie Simon? She was on the undercard.
Stephanie Simon, that she fought.
She was on your card on the undercard, and I know you were focused, but I don't know if you had a chance to watch the recorded. Afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. I saw clips. I didn't get to see her whole fight.
Yeah.
Clips. I didn't get to see it all, man. But you know, she looks in phenomenal shape.
Yes.
And she wanted to, right? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she definitely. She definitely has a following. So you stay busy. When's your next gig? Your commentating gig? You mentioned it. I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah, so I'm doing. We got a show. I forget what part of Mexico it is. It's September 6th, I believe it is. September 5th or the 6th. It's with Matchroom Boxing. So yeah, man, I just got the call for that one, and then I forget what the next show is, but yeah, man, staying active. I enjoy going to Mexico and doing these shows with Matchroom. You know, see this young talent that they end up being stars and things like that, man. So it's always good to stay in the mix.
Gabe, I'm gonna have to get a hold of your agent. I'm gonna have to send your agent a reel. You know what I mean? To get those calls and those opportunities, because you definitely know what you're talking about behind the mic, man. And yeah,
I don't have. You know what the beauty is, man? I've been in the sport for so long, man, and I fought on pretty much every network you could think of, streams, all that, man. So, you know, I've learned to build relationships, man. So everybody got my number, man. So when somebody need me, they just shoot me that call and we make things happen. So I don't have an agent, man. I don't have an agent or a manager. We just, you know, make it off the strength.
That's good, man. That's straight up. I wanted to see Abner climb into the ring. I wanted to ask Abner what he thought about the card, what he thought about everything, and especially, bro, I'm going to keep it 100, bro. With the exception of Conor McGregor, nobody could touch Abner's suits, bro. Come on, let's keep it 100. And you saw that fly black one that he had.
Yeah, Abner stayed fresh, man. For sure. No, Abner was telling me, you know, he was just like, you know, have fun in there. You know what I mean? But I was having fun already in camp, man. I was enjoying it. And it's funny because being out for 2 years and stuff like that, you usually get the nerves or whatever. It didn't hit me, man. I was so relaxed, so in tune, and I was just like, I knew what I had to do. So, man, it's crazy. It was almost like I never left, bro, to be honest with you, which is crazy. Being out for that long, you kind of wonder how you're going to feel with the headgear off and the 10-ounce gloves. But once I was in there, bro, I was like so comfortable and so relaxed for it. I just went right into it.
Well, I don't think you're away. Like I said earlier, I mean, from commentating, you're still feeding your mind. You're still part of the sport.
Sure.
You're still calling. You're still seeing the openings. You see somebody setting up traps. You're able to call things before they happen because you see the styles from the feet all the way up, from the corner, their muscle memory, their movement. I like to study the corner on the reaction of the fighter and how, especially if he consumes some unnecessary punches. And you've never walked away from it. You got that physical rest, but mentally you were right there.
No, for sure, definitely, man. And I think it is good when you're commentating working fights. You kind of are exercising your the sport and the techniques and things like that, man. So it's real good, man. Staying involved and being a part of it, and I enjoy it, man. I enjoy calling the fights, man. But at the end of the day, man, I was like, man, I love doing this, but I love being in there more. So I'm like, I gotta get back in.
No, you're exactly right. If you had a bucket list, is there anybody on your bucket list that you would like to sit side by side with and call fights with that you haven't already?
Jim Lampley.
There you go.
Jim Lampley, man. Jim Lampley was, I grew up watching HBO.
Yep.
So, Ark and all that, man. So, Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant was the guys I grew up on. Obviously, Al Bernstein, those old school guys, man.
Yeah,
Manuel Stewart. Yeah, Manuel Stewart, those guys, man. So, yeah, man, for Jim to be back in it is dope. You know what I'm saying? And, I think that would be dope one day, call a fight with Jim.
Well, hey, you said it, and only on the Fighter's Voice, things happen, man. We talked about the comeback on the Fighter's Voice, and I said, well, maybe on our on the next Marv Nation card or Amada's card, because it's in the archives, bro. I'll rewind it. I'll send you the link. And you said, okay, well, that'd be good. I'm open to that. And sure enough, what happened?
Yeah.
You call things if they're not as if they are, like the Bible says, and you put it in place. You gave it life. You accepted it, and you did it.
Exactly, man. And it worked out, man. It was dope, man. It was good working with Marv Nation and Abner. You know what I'm saying? Making it happen, man. It was real easy, man. Everything just flowed and it worked out.
Yeah, and Al Morenito did great again, stood undefeated, got some good rounds in, and a lot of people got to see a different side to him as far as sitting in the pocket. But I'm telling you, man, that stick comes out like nothing. I mean, that jab it just comes out smooth, and I like to see him, keep using it more throughout the fight. But it's learning as we go, and I like to see him get those hard fought rounds, because I truly believe, and I spoke to his father afterwards. I would have to say he learned the most that last fight than the previous fights that he's had before, because
for sure.
Yeah, you need those type of fights and those type of fighters to face that adversity and make that transition.
For sure, yeah, he got his rounds in. I was watching his fight in the back as I was warming up. I sit down and watch clips, well, not clips, just watch certain rounds. So he was in the pocket, you know what I mean, and yeah, it was a good fight because the guy was durable and it went the distance, man. So you need those rounds that develop and build and continue working on your skills and build your skills. I mean, so it was good rounds for him.
Well, you know what, man? Tell us about your podcast. How can we subscribe to it? Is it on YouTube? Is it on Spotify? Let the world know, bro. Let everybody know. We're here to promote it.
No, for sure, man. Yeah, Mi Gallo, man, is on YouTube and Spotify. There's Mi Gallo Boxing Podcast. And I was out for a month. You know what I mean? Obviously, I was in the training camp, man. But we're gonna drop some new stuff coming up, and just keep talking boxing, man. Like, it's so much good fights happening, and you got Usyk, who I think is the pound for pound in boxing right now, in a way. So, man, you got Boots, and it's the 154-pound division is crazy with Fundora and now Xander Zayas and Virgil. Man, it's just it's stacked right now, man. So it's just so many good fights that are gonna happen. That's the fun part about it. These fights are gonna happen. So it's good, man. Boxing's in a good spot right now.
Well, I do like your production. I do like the product, and it's very entertaining. Sure. You know, I am a follower. I am a supporter. And
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys get down. I mean, you guys make a great team together, and you have a great dance partner.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's easy to do it with that. You know what I mean? To talk fights with Abner, man, because you know we've been there, done that, right? So it's like, you know,
I gotta have you both on at the same time.
The funny part is like when we'll disagree, man. But it's cool, man. It's like, you know, but it's fun, man. It's fun, you know, just sitting down and talking boxing, and just it's so easy, man, because you know it's what we do, is who we are, it's what we love, man. And I think, you know, the combination of a Boricua and a Mexicano, you know what I'm saying, talking boxing together, and the show is Mi Gallo, is so dope, because I don't care what you say, the biggest rivalry in boxing is Mexico and Puerto Rico, because it's the best fights, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's the best fights, you know, and it's a healthy rivalry, because, you know, the respect is there, because Mexico knows how good Puerto Rico is, and vice versa. So for me and Abner to sit down and, you know, talk our talk, you know, and call the show Mi Gallo, which everybody knows that's, you know, in the culture of Mexico and Puerto Rico, is the fighting roosters, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yep. You go to Puerto Rico, I think about 5 minutes from my house in Puerto Rico, there's an arena for cockfights.
There you go.
Yeah, for the roosters. So it's crazy. It's part of the culture. You know what I mean? I know other people might look at it like it's brutal, but that's the Mexicano Puerto Rico culture, you know, the rooster fights, man. So, you know, that's where Mi Gallo comes from.
And you know what? It's a respectful and it's a friendly rival. It does get heated, and, you know, De La Hoya, Trinidad, you know, you name it. I mean, for Wilfredo Gomez, Salvador Sanchez, Julio Cesar Chavez, Hector Macho Camacho, and even with Edwin Rosario, you know, he was back in there too. So those are also some legends that share the ring together, and it'll always be entertaining. It'll always be a spectacle, and most of all, it will always be respectful.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. And I think you know, like I got to be a part of the rivalry with Munguia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know, it was
you did.
So
right.
that event at the Honda Center, you know, Mexico, Puerto Rico, you know what I mean? And it was dope that, you know, you grow up and you watch Tito walking in the ring and representing Puerto Rico, or you know, Chavez representing Mexico, and you look at these legendary fights, and then to be a part of one, I mean, it's dope. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, man, I think me and Abner, we have that quality, man, that we bring to the show, where it's like it's a true Mexican champion, a true Puerto Rican fighter, and it's like, you know, just doing Mi Gallo, man, is dope.
That's a good name. That's a good hook, and I like it, exactly the storyline and where it comes from. And like I said, man, I support it. I think you guys are one of the baddest podcasters out there. And you know,
Thanks,
you're very informal. What I mean, no, you give out the right information. And you both been inside and outside of the ring, so you get to see it from two spectacles. And you're not just both yes men. You guys both disagree, and you truly mean it. And Abner makes sense on his side, and you make sense too. But at the end of the day, I mean, the two fighters, they're the ones going to solve the debate. So it's a friendly debate, but it's truthful. It's coming from your corazon, and it's one hell of a podcast, brother.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, man. We'll get back to it real soon, bro. Real soon.
Absolutely, man. So any shout outs, man, to your sponsors or anybody in particular, man, you want to dedicate this show to, any of the above?
Yeah, man. Shout out I had a few of my sponsors, man. Great Crazy Customs. I had SRG Realty, and then Red Devil's Pizza, and then shout out to my man's A Chevy Cadillac, A Chevy GMC. You know, man, show love, and you know, we're just looking for the bigger and better things.
Well, since you're shouting out sponsors too, I got to keep the lights on, man. And first of all, I want to thank the Maldonado brothers, proudly serving the Central Valley for over 25 years. From Visalia to Chowchilla, whether it's expert tree service or professional landscaping, we offer free estimates. With the team you can trust, voted the best in Central California. Call us today at 559-994-7746. And also FIGHTBOOK.com. It's a platform for the fighter, the cut man, the manager, the promoter, you name it. whatever you need, a ring announcer, a commentator, go to fightbook.com, subscribe today, and join the industry, join the promotion. It's taking over a platform for all the fighters and all the networks, giving them an opportunity to shine. So make sure you go to fightbook.com. And also, they're going to be in the Santa Monica Pier Saturday, August 16th. Sponsored by fightbook.com. The butterfly brawl for it all. I mean, make sure, they're still taking fighters. There's still some open vacancy. If you are a fighter, just go to fightbook.com, subscribe, enter yourself in there, and we can't get you on this card, or we'll get you on the next one. And it's taking place, man. I mean, that's not too far from where you live. How far is Santa Monica Pier from where you're at, Gabriel?
Not too far. I'm in Covina.
Okay.
West Covina, so
okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
about,
you can possibly make that August 16th, Santa Monica Pier.
Sure, man.
Yeah, we'll make
It's
sure.
dope.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, first of all, I appreciate you being on the show, taking the time, especially right after a fight. A fighter just wants to rest, and I respect that, and I also respect the times, that you're in preparation. I was supposed to have Regis Pro Gray on the show as well, but I didn't return some of his calls and messages because I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted him to. Yeah. I'm a fan of the Rougarou, and I didn't want to be that guy to disturb him or take him off and or throw him off his rhythm. And he had his hands full with Jojo Diaz, possibly fight of the year thus far. And if you have a chance, but it was going on the same day that you were fighting, and we can capture what we needed to capture, man. But yeah, I don't like to disturb or take fighters out of their element. So I respect that 100%. Trust me. But I will say this, Gabriel, before we go. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do at www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Every fighter has a voice, and so do you. As always, Gabriel, the king is back. Rosado, as always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
It's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.